Hey, everybody. What's up? What's up? This is Real Time with Prince Blue. It is October the 28th. This is a special state of emergency episode. I'm coming to you, brought to you by Last Out Media Network, my squad, my team. Um, Pretty much this is gonna be if you want to be in your feelings, this is gonna be the episode to be in your feelings because unless you were living under a rock, there was another shooting between police and a black man. And I have a very special guest that has a very unique perspective about that because not only is she a black woman and educated, but she's also very much into black issues, black causes within the community. She's a mother, she's a wife, and she's not only just a wife, she is the wife of a law enforcement officer. So she's going to give you all angles of not just the recent shooting, but other shootings in the past and how we as a community deal with it on social media and other places. So I ask that all white, black, whatever color you is, if you have questions or if you want to know more, now's the time. You want answers. We may not know all the answers, but damn it, we got experience and we can give you our experience and our perspective and our opinion. And if you're ready to debate it, we can do that. So we got Miss Rosa here live from I don't know. Also, if y'all was under a rock, Philadelphia, which is riot central right now due to that shooting and lack of leadership among the police, the mayor, everywhere else. Of course, she's going to get into that. So, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm peachy. so and when I say the shooting, I mean Mr. Wallace
hmm
shot and killed um
Right.
in a incident, and I'm not even gonna try to give the synopsis of it because you're right there. You hear
hmm
more than I do.
hmm
I've talked to some people that I know there, but you are actually there.
hmm
So, um, won't you tell everybody what happened and what you know about the incident?
Um. Well, I'm first. Let me say I'm going um off of reports that I've read. That which is in the news. Also, I'm going off of things that I know personally because I do have family that's connected and is in law enforcement. Um, Also, let me say this before we get into it. By no means um, am I here to justify what happened, to excuse what happened, to absolve what happened. I'm here to simply state my point of view. Whatever questions you ask, I'm gonna answer them to the best of my knowledge, like you said, and also get into a deeper conversation, which we've had with each other and others too. Not just from the standpoint of law enforcement, but the whole entire system that continues to fail Black and Brown people. Um, so now that I got that out the way, pretty much from what happened, from what I know, um, the gentleman, Mr. Wallace, I think a call went out to to 911. Actually, there was two calls. The first call was a domestic disturbance, um, man with a knife. Then it was also a follow-up call that that said pretty much the same thing, and it added that apparently, allegedly, he threatened the neighbor with a knife, who I think maybe had heard the altercation and maybe tried to come in and stop the altercation, to be a helping hand, etc. So that was the initial call. Now I've also, reports came out yesterday that the family said they did not call for police, that they called for an ambulance, which, a medical emergency, which is two separate things. I said allegedly because I don't know, I wasn't there, but these are the different things that we're hearing about why the cops initially, why they were there anyway. Um, and the cops arrived, and I mean, did you see the video?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure that wasn't the whole entire, video. And from what I heard, that the commissioner is going to be releasing the body cams from the officers. But from what I heard, when the officers arrived, um, the gentleman, had a knife, allegedly. He was, combative. Officers tried to, commanded him to, put the knife down. He continued to come towards them, and unfortunately, we had the unnecessary tragic situation. So that's as far as I know why they were there in the beginning. Like I said, there's been some statements and some things disputing that the family actually called, you know, 911 for the police, or if they called 911 for, a medical emergency. Um, so I guess we'll learn exactly what happened as far as that in the coming days.
Okay. Thank you for that. And automatically, one thing that jumped off the bat, and you probably saw it in my face because you hit that allegedly soon as I made that face when you said it was for a medical emergency and
Mhm.
they didn't call police. Now,
Mhm.
I don't know how it is in other departments, but in my department, whenever a
Mhm.
911 emergency call is out, police
Mhm.
automatically get the call because
Mhm.
we got to make it safe for medic because they're not going to just go in. They're going to stage until we go in, clear the scene, make it safe
Right.
for them, and then they could come in. So
Right.
whether they called or not, I mean, it is what it is. Because I'm saying if we didn't come, and then that guy there's wielding a knife, medic ain't gonna go in there anyway.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I mean, my I'm saying to everybody that's saying, well, they had no business there anyway. That's not
Mhm.
how it works.
Works.
That's just
Right.
not how it works when you're a
Mhm.
police officer and an emergency call goes out. They're not going to send medic. They're not going to send fire. They're not going to send anybody in there until that scene is clear. That's just the
Right.
way it is.
Right.
So now, what transpired after that? That happened, but far as why police was there, I mean,
Mhm.
they had no choice but to be there because
Mhm.
that's your duty to go there. So I
Right.
already saw a couple people online saying, well, they had no business being there. I was like, that's
Mhm.
not how it works. Like, you
Mhm.
can't call medic and think you ain't gonna get the police
Get
to
the
show
cops.
up. It goes
Right.
it
Hand
goes
in
hand in
hand.
hand. Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Right.
Um,
But let me also
go
say
ahead.
this.
Go ahead.
There was the cops were out there earlier because this happened in the afternoon. The cops were out there earlier in the morning too. I don't know what the call was, what it was for, but I do know that was the second time that day that that they were out there within a span of hours. So I don't know if that will be, released, or I don't know if that is relevant to whatever, breakdown was going on, if the situation was connected, but I do know that.
You know, being close to law enforcement, you know how it is when you're on a certain patrol, you're in a certain beat, that trouble house, that house
Mhm.
where it come hook or crook, you're going to get a call.
Mhm.
Sometimes multiple times in that day. And I believe that absolutely has something to do with it because in my years as a police officer, sometimes I've went to a house multiple times with no arrest. And
Mhm.
then when the arrest is made, you don't know how many times I have already been there and warned
Right.
them that we can't keep coming out here for this. Like
Mhm. Right.
contrary contrary to popular belief, police don't arrest everybody.
Mhm.
We don't arrest
No.
all the time.
Mhm.
It just doesn't happen.
Mhm.
But you do see an escalation when there have been multiple calls, multiple trouble calls,
Right.
and that house has a history of either somebody going to jail, violence, weapons. I mean,
Mhm.
all that stuff is pulled up when
When
officers
you,
get a
yeah.
call. When officers get a call, A, if we know that address, we already know what we're walking into. But
Mhm.
B, if we don't, quick look, or in most uh computers inside, they tell you the most recent calls there and what happened.
Right.
So cops are already going in knowing like, hey, there's a guy there that likes weapons, that's combative. You know, you get all these things. And then once we get there, it's our job to assess the situation and go from there.
Right.
Now, what happens once officers how they assess that situation, that goes all into training, your experience, how you
Mhm.
feel that day,
Mhm.
whatever it is, all that goes into how you're going to handle that situation.
Right.
And this situation where you're going in, okay, armed person with a knife,
Mhm.
boom, we already know. Can you let the people know out there that you agree that a knife is deadly force?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't that in my opinion it is. Yeah.
Okay. Now, because I asked that because people was like, well, what if they're far away? And I
Mhm.
get you want to come up with all these scenarios, but in this incident, there was people around. He ran past people several times. I believe if I'm watching the video correctly, if I watch the video correctly, the officers was running around the car,
Mhm.
like
Right.
asking him to put down the knife. Mom trying
Mhm.
to calm him down,
Mhm.
telling him to chill out. So
Right.
it's like, come on, people, let's use a little logic. Look, I get it that everything is going to be scrutinized, and me and you
Mhm.
agree on this as well.
Mhm.
Rightfully damn so. Like we
Mhm.
can't take anybody's word. Um, it ain't black and white anymore. It ain't what you see is what you get.
Right.
Police have lost that privilege
Credibility. Yeah, absolutely.
to where whatever we say happened, it
Happen. Right.
goes. That's how it went down.
Mhm.
Blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Um, Now what I
Mm.
want to ask you is your I'm gonna get into that, Terry. I'm gonna trust me. I'm gonna get into all of that. I'm just talking like just I'm trying to get it out. I'm trying to build it to where people understand all sides. I haven't even gotten to why it was that many goddamn shots, but we gonna get into that. Um,
But
so
let me
go
say
ahead.
this before too. Um, and I've also heard, and I don't know how widespread it is, that a lot of people know that apparently within the past 3 months that cops were at this house 50, I wrote it down, 56 times.
Oh.
So I don't know what it was for. I'm going to assume it was because, there's a mental illness involved.
Hmm.
And there in itself, you have clearly persons or persons that need help, that the
Absolutely.
system continues to fail. Now, that's on a larger scale, what I, said earlier, how the system continues to fail black and brown people, people with mental illness, etc. Clearly, if this young man had issues, allegedly he was also taking medication. Um, there was some type of hospitalization that needed to happen. And let's be frank, if you don't have the means, meaning the money, the health care accessible to you, you're just going to be, thrown to the wolves. Um, so that's where the issue is bigger. Everything, it's like one big smorgasbord, and we're seeing it result in combustion.
Yeah, it's definitely you see it because it all adds up to. Because I can only speak from my experience. Like when I have a house, when I come to a house where it's a history of somebody with a mental illness, we have this thing called mobile crisis where they can
Mhm.
respond with us. But
Mhm.
of course, in order for them to talk to, they're not going to talk to an individual with a knife. We still have to
You still have to
diffuse
diffuse the situation, right?
right before they can come in.
Mhm.
I don't know how they do it in Philly, but in Charlotte, that's how we do it. We'll be like, start mobile crisis,
Yeah,
and
no,
then they'll
they.
stage
Mhm.
until we get it clear. And
Mhm.
then if they can talk to them, if medic can talk to them, then we'll get them to, a mental health facility or whatever the case there is.
Mhm.
Um, but on that scale, we're trying to figure out now. I want to know where you was at where these police officers, because people bring it up all the time. Why wasn't he tased? Now
Mhm.
I'm hearing that the officers didn't have tasers. Not all officers get tasers,
Mhm.
but then I see a picture where somebody circled it where it looked like one of the officers did have a taser. What are you
Mhm.
hearing about that?
Um, as far as I know, and obviously I know firsthand, from what I've been told, they all do not have tasers. And again, that goes back to government. And if you don't have the resources that's needed to diffuse situations like this, that's another, box checked.
Yes, very much so. They pretty much went in with only lethal force. Like they didn't
Mhm.
have, it
Right.
was either that or wrestle with the guy and hope that you can
Mhm.
not get injured. Like, how do you expect somebody to make that decision? I mean, some people can.
Right.
I have,
Right.
I have made that decision where I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go hands on. My
Mhm.
wife probably hearing this is probably like, Negro, are you crazy?
Right.
But that's just, and we're going to get into it how it speaks to a larger scale too. I I'm just going to approach my people different because it can be just at a home. Like I don't want this. Like I'm
See,
I'm sick of this too.
right.
But I mean, I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. These white officers,
Mm.
it you don't want to put that decision in their hands because they're not going to
Ye-
have the same mentality as me that they want to save you at all costs.
And you know, this is funny that you bring that up because in something that I wrote down was exactly what you said. Uh having social service available and also having people of the same ethnic background in these
Yes, ma'am.
communities that can identify with, you identify with your own. I'm gonna read exactly what I said. I said time to time you have Caucasian cops in minority in minority communities. Um, and we've seen that they on a large scale are not equipped to police those
Hello.
areas properly, excuse me.
Mhm.
Whether they claim to be scared, whether, like you said, they already go in with preconceived notions. Okay, this is, like you said, if this is somewhere where they've been and they're already analyzing what the scenario is before that. Indoor, let's just be real. Some of them are just racist and prejudiced. So, you know, also they have a bad day. They're more irritable. They're more prone to react in a more aggressive manner. All these things to me are a factor in it. And that right there, um, like you said, you just being able to talk to another black man saying, listen, like, I don't, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, just saying things that we can say to each other to kind of diffuse certain things before they get out of hand. That is a big, 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 big issue.
And can I
And
say something? Can I
mhm,
say something? Guess what? I get it. You want police officers to be professional, but guess what? Fuck that.
you're human also,
You're human. And if
right?
I see another brother, like I told y'all one time, I was about to square up with a dude, and I was like, "Yo, like, why you gonna get your Jordan 11 scuffed up? Like, let's go take care of the warrant and be
Right.
done with it."
Mhm.
And he laughed. He was like, "Come on, man." That's like he's like, "Man, these I got a lot of these." I was like, "Well, them shit's like 225 at least."
Right.
Like,
Right.
and he was like, "We took him down there. He was able to sign himself out.
Mhm.
Boom."
Right.
That's the type of lingo, judo. That's the kind of stuff that you need. Now, I get it. I'm not saying put a black elite squad of police officers in every community because you
Right.
can't do it.
You can't do
Like
it, right.
black people are not beating down the doors to become police officers.
Mhm.
However,
Mhm. You have to know the demographics in the communities that you're serving. And in that neighborhood where, Mr. Wallace was murdered, that is a predominantly black community. Um,
so how did two
so
officers arrive?
how
Now, I
did
mean, I'm saying, how did two officers arrive? This is my thing. My last 5 years, when the shootings and stuff started getting bad, I promise you, if there was a call in a predominantly black neighborhood, I
mhm,
would attach myself to that call.
mhm,
Why? Because I know that my people will be more comfortable with somebody that looks like them there. And also, I'm there because I don't want a white officer tripping
mhm,
or not understanding the situation. Like there's this thing where you see what I just did this, like white officers swear up and down this is being aggressive. Or when
right.
we're yelling. Like, no,
That's
we're
right.
passionate. We're
Right.
trying to explain to you we're
Mhm.
pissed off.
Right.
That doesn't mean they'll be like, yo, he's being aggressive. He's being
Mhm.
no,
Mhm.
he's just yelling.
Yes, and
It's
I'm
okay.
trying to
I'm
get
pretty
my
sure.
point across.
Thank you. Thank you,
Mhm.
ma'am. So
Mhm.
that's why I like being there because I'm like, no, chill. No, that's not. Let me talk to him.
Mhm.
Come rap with me. Let me know
Right.
what's going on.
Right.
It and like you said, it just speaks to a larger issue where
Mhm.
there's just not enough representation
Yep.
on the force, in the community, in the
Mhm.
neighborhoods. Even when we're calling these town hall meetings with black people in the neighborhood, you're having white officers speak.
Officers, right. So already there's a
Right.
eye roll, a snicker, like
Are
really?
you here because you want to be here, or are you here
Right.
because
Yes.
what?
There's an ulterior motive. Absolutely.
Right.
Right. Representation, it matters. It just really does. I know years ago when my husband was on first got on the force, they used to try to break put officers where they're, kind of where their demographics, meaning, Hispanics in a Hispanic, neighborhood. But I don't know if that's changed or not. I'm sure it has, because I know the there hasn't been a huge what's the word I'm looking for? There hasn't
Recruiting.
been
Yeah.
recruiting, right? The
Recruiting is
recruiting
bad.
is down, so I don't know if, I'm sure that has, something to do with it, but I know that's how it used to be, where they kind of try to break, the cops off where they kind of identified with ethnic wise, um, and yeah, yeah,
I hear it in your voice. You because you know that it's higher than just police
mm-hmm,
arriving at a call
mm-hmm,
in a neighborhood. It
mm-hmm.
starts so much higher than that.
Higher. Mm-hmm.
The boots on the ground are just we're in the shit. We're the ones that have to pretty much work with all the bad, good, shitty decision that's come from the top, like
Right.
not having tasers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
You could go cheat a lot of places. Police equipment is something you don't want to go cheap with
Mm-mm.
because you get these scenarios, you get these
Mm-hmm.
incidents.
Right.
Because I'm just gonna say it here. Um, like I'm gonna go into a little bit of training. Yes, we're trained for 2 men takedown, and in that situation, there was nothing wrong with one having lethal and one having non-lethal. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to get around, get this
Mm-hmm.
taser on them, and
Right.
then get them down.
Right.
They didn't even have that. They didn't
Right.
have that decision.
And to make,
So I'm
right.
like, Terry Lynn said, they cut the police budget.
Yeah,
But I'm pretty
they,
sure they're building great shit in Philadelphia that you're looking like, we don't need that.
well, and that's the Terry, that's the balancing act that every major city is faced with, because some of the funds um that they are getting to fund the police, it absolutely, and I would just say not police, but funds in a government needs to be diverted to other things. But when you have incidences like this, and everybody's like, oh, well, why didn't they have tasers? Well, they didn't have tasers because they had to cut back somewhere. So
Mm-hmm.
there's always a rhyme and reason for things, and people simply just want things to be black and white. And unfortunately, some things
It's
are
not.
not.
Yes,
And
man.
that's one of it. Also, another thing is not just at the local level where funding is affected, is at the federal level, because a lot of their money for, overtime, training, etc.,
Cut.
that's cut. And we all know what's going on now in the government these days. So that's everything that people don't see.
They
that
don't want to see. Like
well,
some
yeah.
people just want to be outraged. Like they don't want to like you know how me and you are talking about it. Some people just want to be outraged. Like
Mhm.
um,
Right.
not like Jay, but Jay Bink just said no tasers and both empty their clip though 14 shot. That smells of poor training and excessive. Yes, I agree
Let
with you on that. But I will say this. Um, I've been in a shooting. I've shot somebody who had a gun pointed at me, and I fired 4 shots. Um, we're taught
and see,
to
I was gonna talk about. I already know what you're gonna say because I had this conversation with
what
my
I was gonna say.
husband.
What I'm gonna
You
say.
was
What
gonna
I'm gonna say.
say, listen. Fortunately, unfortunately, I know people want to play Monday morning quarterbacks, but cops are not taught to injure people when there's situations that deadly weapons are involved. This is not anything that I'm saying is good, because good, bad, or indifferent, I'm speaking what I know. They're not taught to injure somebody. In your training, you're taught in a deadly situation, you're taught,
Neutralize the
unfortunately,
threat.
exactly. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Was that what you
Neutralize.
was going to say?
Yes,
Okay.
because somebody was saying that they would say, "Aren't you taught to shoot to kill?" No, we're not taught to shoot to kill. We're taught to. It's like when you go to the range, you don't see a silhouette of legs, shoulders,
Shoulders.
arms, toes. You
Mhm.
see center mass, head. That's
Mhm.
what you see because
Right.
that's how you neutralize, eliminate a threat. Does that
Mhm.
mean every time you shoot a person like that, are they going to die? No. Is 14 shots excessive?
Hell
In
yeah.
my opinion, hell yes. That
Mhm.
was excessive as shit because when I had to explain my shooting, you notice is you have to explain every round. Okay, what was you
Mhm.
thinking when you fired this shot? What was
Right.
he doing?
Right.
What okay, what's this second shot? What's this
Mhm.
third shot? What's this fourth shot?
Right.
They gotta explain 14 shots. And I
Mhm.
don't think they can do it. Stephen King
No.
can't write that.
Mm.
You just can't write it.
Mhm.
You just can't. I mean,
Right.
and we've all heard of. I don't know if y'all heard of center. Not center mass. I'm reading something. Y'all all heard of when somebody sympathy fire, where
Mhm.
you know you'll have a whole bunch of cops around, one person
Right.
fired, everybody else fired, and
Everybody
they're like,
fire. Right.
why the hell are you like?
Mhm.
Because you're just in that,
Right. You're
you know,
yeah.
and again that goes to training. Like
Mhm.
when it happened for me, I can just speak for me. When I was in my shoot incident, my training held up and my humanity held up.
Mhm.
Like it's very sudden I get rattled. The only time I get rattled is on Sundays when those raggedy ass Eagles have my blood boiling. That's when I'm like not thinking clearly.
Right.
But in situations when I've had to use deadly force or use any type of force, in 10 years, I have not been charged. I had not had to go to IA for excessive force complaints
Mhm.
because I've always used what was necessary.
Right.
Sometimes less to where people, officers will pull me to the side and be like, yo, Blue, like, I don't like how you did that, man. Like, that's dangerous. Like,
Right.
you want to go home, don't you?
Mhm.
So it's different. And like, I wanted to explain to somebody else because they was like, it can't be it can't be just this. I'm like, no, there's plenty of de-escalation videos and camera and incidents
Mhm.
out there. But the issue is that doesn't get people.
Right.
What you saw in Philly, that's what the news wants you to see. That's what honestly you should see.
Mhm.
And we've seen it too much.
Too right.
So
Right.
now we're either numb, angry, don't understand, or we're just not trying to hear it.
Mhm.
And again, I say we because police officers, we've made that bed
Mhm.
and we got to deal with it.
Right. But also speak to something which you said, because um and you said that you shot what somebody once. That was it.
4 times.
So you for different situations.
No. This was one guy.
Just
Four
one.
times I shot him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and my husband has been on the force for 19 years, and he's never shot anybody.
Thank God.
Thank God. Never
Hmm.
had to. Um. So the I won't say misconception because it's really not a misconception, but there more times out of not what you said, off most, I'm gonna say not all, but most officers will go a career without even having to pull their weapon in a situation where they have to use it, because if you pull it, that means you're going to use it in most situations. What did Jay say? When you're on the force, how often are you retrained?
Oh yeah, I
It
wanted to
depends.
answer that for him. Yeah, it
It just
depends on
depends.
the
If it
funding,
depends on the
the
person,
state,
right?
the
Yeah.
department. Like my department, you have to research at least, I want to say at least once a year on training on deadly force training for the state for you to keep your certification. And then
Mhm.
my department also always coming up with unique training classes to where
Mhm.
putting you in different scenarios.
Mhm.
But again, my department, it depends on the money and the funds.
Yes.
Like you
Yeah.
can't have a class and pay officers to come to a class if you don't
Mhm.
have the money, because
Right.
that's time where you have to pay them for being in that
Being
class. And if
right.
you don't have the money, then you can't have the class. So you're just going to
Mhm.
do the bare minimum. And it's
Right.
also dependent on that individual person. Like,
That's what
do
I was
you
gonna
take
say.
self-defense classes on yourself? Do you do any type of MMA, martial arts,
Mhm.
boxing? What are you doing on your own? And you
Mhm.
gotta admit, I mean, let's be serious. At some of these officers are overworked, 60 something hours a week. So now you want them
Mm.
to go train on their own? Yeah,
Right.
sorry. It's just not gonna happen.
Mhm.
But I hope that answered your question, Jay. But I know it's at least once a year for state mandate, but then after that, it's all about money and your department and how much they want you to be out here well trained and well
And
equipped to do your job. Go ahead, sir.
it depends on also what unit you're in. If you're in, high a high
Secret squirrel shit.
right, you're gonna, you have to, like
Hmm.
you said, I know there's certain mandatory training that that my husband has to do, but then there's always different changes to different codes and all that stuff that he has to, and he uh, just say for my husband, he loves his job, so he wants to be updated and trained on as much as he possibly can.
He's
So
just crazy. That's all. But
so
like you said, they got those deep units. Like those guys, they'll call each other and be like, "Hey, on Saturday, we just gonna go out and just train."
well, the last training that he went to was at the state police,
Hmm.
and it was I think like a Tuesday, and oh, y'all have training. I think it was like five of them. You have training Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like,
Hmm.
really. So like it just depends on all of the things that in which we said. Also, let me, while we're talking about training, I wanted to, and I'm sure we'll probably come back to it, but while it's on my mind,
Go ahead.
um because I heard a lot of people saying, oh, cops are trained to deal with situations when there is somebody who has a mental illness, and that is the farthest thing from the truth. If
Speak
you
on it.
if you want to count a basic course that me or you could take, that's it. But as far as an extensive training for them to be comfortable with handling those type of altercations and situations, absolutely not. They are not.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, they don't even want to deal with it because they know they're not equipped to to handle, situations when there is a mental illness involved.
Absolutely. And I'm going to catch up on some questions. My boy, shout out to my boy Main Event, my big homie. He said places are willing to work with the police when it comes to jujitsu. It's all types of MMA, martial arts places that give discounts to
Mhm.
police officers to
So right.
train
Mhm.
because they see how untrained these guys are and how quick they're to
Right.
grab anything on their belt. Like I said, police officers, we are not Batman. Like sometimes it's just nothing on your belt that's going to help you. It's going to
Mhm.
be your mouth and
Mhm.
your mentality and what's in
Mhm.
your heart. Because
Mhm.
this equipment can fail you. What you got then? Um,
well, there we
go ahead.
can get into the tasers.
Mm, there you go.
Um, Now we're playing Monday morning quarterback because obviously the situation is what it is and we know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say they did try to use their tasers. Tasers fail. Tasers
Bingo. A
don't
high
work.
failure rate.
Don't work.
High.
Don't work sometimes. Um, People who, and I'm not saying that he was, on drugs or anything
Right.
like that. I'm just giving
Absolutely.
scenarios. But we all have seen and maybe been around people who are on drugs where adrenaline is pumping, etc., where a taser is not going to do anything for them.
They'll
So
pull it right out.
they'll pull it right out. What if it misses? So, and if that's the case, and you have somebody still coming at you with a knife while your taser has missed, do you think you're then gonna have time to drop the taser and get
Pull your weapon out.
pull your
Yeah.
weapon
In a high pressure situation,
in a
pressure
high?
bust pipes.
We're
Fine
not
motor
talking
skills go
right.
away.
We're not talking about situations that take time to develop. We're talking about split second decisions that that have to be made in a split, like there's no time you know to think.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I absolutely, they should have had tasers. Tasers should be used, but to say that in all situations that that's going to deter someone
Mm-hmm.
is not the case, because I've seen it with my own eyes where somebody done been shot with a taser in their chest and pulled that shit out and
And went after them.
went on about their business. Um, so
And Karate Mark says, "Why put rookie cops in a rougher neighborhood? Vet cops get the quieter sections." And and
that
and that's a good damn question. And most of it is, I'm gonna say, good old
it
boy
depends on
network.
numbers too. Yeah.
It depends on numbers. And let's
Mhm.
be honest, you get an old, grumpy, crumpled up vet with these inner city youths who are
Mm.
fast, strong, can
Mhm.
run, can do anything they want to do. Why do you want Joe Billy Bob with his uh stomach hanging over his belt in the rougher neighborhoods? I hate to
Right.
say it, but you get
Mhm.
these younger guys out here. But the issue is you're getting younger guys out here fresh out of college,
College. Yep. Fresh
no
out of the.
experience with black
Mhm.
people,
Right.
like limited experience, like ain't never been a fight in their life.
Right.
and
who
there
suddenly
was
have some power, or
oh,
power as they perceive to be power.
absolutely. And you be hearing them like yelling, like, shut up. And I'll be like, no, like why are you yelling? Like,
Right.
calm your ass down. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
not how we do things in this neighborhood. Like,
Right.
don't do that. Like,
Right.
and then they're getting trained by grumpy,
Mm-hmm.
disgruntled,
Who are
fat,
ready to retire.
racist, who ready to retire. So they're already fed up with the inner city, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
listen, this how you do it, blah
Right.
blah blah. Don't take
Right.
no lip. Like,
Right.
they're half-ass training the younger
Mm-hmm.
crew.
Right.
And I want to get to Shantae before I I don't want to forget her question. She said, Prince, I had a question. So for families who have family members with mental illnesses or
Mm-hmm.
autism, should we call a response team instead of the police? Shed, you missed that part of the call, but I think Rosa and Terry said that Philly has it where
In the works.
you could in the works where you could call a mobile crisis unit to
Mm-hmm.
respond with the police officer to a call. Because if you do call police, let's say somebody's having a mental breakdown and they're
Mm-hmm.
inconsolable and they call medic, police are going to come anyway because we have
Mm-hmm.
to diffuse the situation before they can get any mental health services,
Mm-hmm.
anybody that can ask them questions or do anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can call mental health services, but 9 times out of 10, like if it's like after hours or something like that, I promise you, police are going to show up regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And that
And
and that mental health person is not gonna. They're gonna be like, well, ma'am, call 911
mm-hmm.
because we ain't coming. Or they're gonna get on the horn and they're gonna be like, hey, I got a call at 123 Bird Street. Can you send me a uniformed officer? That's just how it's
Right.
gonna go.
And to also add to that, um, let's say if there was a situation where there wasn't there wasn't a weapon involved, etc., where somebody is calling because their loved one is having a break, and unfortunately they just can't go by word of mouth. Like they can there actually needs to be paperwork saying that this person, like they went down to court and they are authorized to have this person 302'd, which a lot of people, I know I didn't know that either, but I found that out also. Now it's different if there's a weapon involved, but let's say, if it's my son that's having, break, and I'm calling 911 saying this is, what's going on. I want to have him committed. Like you actually have to go file paperwork for that.
Oh, absolutely. You have to go to the magistrate.
You
Yeah,
right. It's
yeah.
not like I can just say no, come get him, take him. That they you need they need paperwork, and that goes back to again how the system is set up, where uh, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of
Mm-mm.
people,
They just
they don't
call
have
911, and
right.
then we get there, and then we're going to dish out our brand of whatever you want to call our brand of how to deal with mental illnesses. It's so
Mm-hmm.
many services. I would tell people this: if you have anybody in your family with mental illness that live with you and their issue, I would try to find out what services, what is available to
Yeah,
me, what is within
yeah.
my rights as
Mm-hmm.
soon
As
as
you
possible. Because you
see
don't
a problem, yeah.
right, you don't want to call police and then want our answers because we're not equipped. Well, I'm not gonna say all of us, but you
The
get probably
majority.
like 2 hours of training, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
All right, go
The-
out there.
right.
And it's generic as shit.
Right. Yeah. This
Generic.
mm-hmm.
You watch a video, they do a couple scenarios, but guess what? In those scenarios, they can say index, which means stop. In real life, like the scenario that happened to Mr. Wallace, they probably would have been like, index, okay, what you could have did different, what happens here? Guess what? There's no index. You in the shit now. Like you,
Right.
and you got to make that decision.
Decision.
So again, it goes to a higher, like, what the fuck do you mean it's in the works? You
Right.
are filling up. There is money there. There should never be nothing in the works when it comes to police.
Mm-hmm.
Never. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you want you want three people well trained: athletes, doctors, and
Mm-hmm.
police officers. You
Right.
don't skimp on that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like you get a doctor that says, "Yeah, I have about maybe an hour of heart surgery
Right.
training,
Right. Who's
so
a
I'm pretty much
cardiologist?
good. Yeah, let's go." Like, what? No, no,
Right.
I don't. No, I don't want that shit. Like, what are we talking about here? So
Mm-hmm.
now, picture that with police. Hey, go handle that mentally ill guy over there. I've
Mm-hmm.
only had 1 hour of mental illness training. I've never seen this. What is this?
Right.
What does he have? Why
Right.
is he acting like that? Is it a bad
Mm-hmm.
reaction to his medicine? Did he
Medicine.
take
Right.
his medicine?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, does uniforms trigger him? Does guns trigger him? Is he
Mm-hmm.
autistic? Does loud sounds trigger him? Is the
Right.
color of my uniform something that he doesn't like? These are all the things. And yes, that can be some things that'll trigger somebody with a mental illness. You
Mm-hmm.
coming in with your hand on your gun,
Gun. Right.
you coming in screaming, you coming in walking fast, like you
Mm-hmm.
did. And think about it. This is all the things that an officer has to
Right.
make a split-second decision that we can Monday morning quarterback for the
Quarterback.
rest of our lives. And again,
Mm-hmm.
me and Rosa are not excusing what happened. We're just giving you all sides of it, how these things turn out, because there's so many
Mm-hmm.
reasons. Lack
Mm-hmm.
of training, lack of equipment, lack of empathy, lack of sympathy, lack of
Mm-hmm.
human decency. It's like, because
Like
let me
a
tell you something.
resources. Yeah.
I hate using this scenario, but I think I feel comfortable in saying, if that was two black officers, Mr. Wallace would be here.
Yeah. I would
I
agree.
think he would be here. I want to
Right.
say he will be here
Right.
because we, number one, we understand that
Mm-hmm.
it's just too many. It's just too much going down.
Right.
And I didn't even bring this up, sis, and I'm glad I just got that in. Officers are actually thinking about their job during calls.
Mm-hmm.
If I put my hands on them,
Right.
will I get in trouble with IA?
Right.
Will this look bad on the news?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, me yelling, is that unprofessional? Oh man,
Right.
I don't want to lose my off-duty permit because I'm on a desk job. You can't have officers thinking about all that stuff during a
Right.
crisis call. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're thinking about.
Right.
And the times, and because of the times, it's just so much on, and even on people's plate that we're coming to help. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
should I call the police? I
Right.
can't trust the police. He
Mm-hmm.
looks like he don't like me. Blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah. It's just so much, and that goes to, again, there's no more community policing.
Mm-mm.
When we were
No.
growing up, I could name you. I had Officer Red, and we called him Big Red because he was 6'8". We had Officer Johnson, people that were like in the community, like
Right.
you knew.
That you know. Mm-hmm.
You don't know these officers
For
anymore.
sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's no
They just show up.
right.
They're like
There's no
customer service.
connection. Yeah.
None.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it's it's so distressing. It's you just it's overwhelming.
It is.
Um because you don't know what to do. You don't have answers to certain questions. Like, Shantae just asked, if this is the case. Should I even call?
Right. You shouldn't
But
have
like,
to worry about should you call
right,
the cops to get help for your mentally ill relative. Like
right,
there
right,
was a time where you can call and we would come and we'll be like, hey, whatever name, put a name there. Like, what's going on now? Like, what's wrong? Like, I was here yesterday. Like, what's going on? I tell you what,
mm-hmm,
just come with me. Let's get you checked out and let's see what's going on. And then you come back out and then we'll do it all over again.
right,
Like stuff like that. And that's something I used to say. But between officers not having the patience, family members not having the patience, because they're stressed too, because they
right,
see a loved one like out of his
mm-hmm,
element, like
right,
being like, going through a breakdown.
mm-hmm,
And on top of that, oh man, the cops is here.
right,
Calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down.
mm-hmm,
And it's like, I asked you to be here, but now you're getting aggressive. I don't want you touching my baby.
mm-hmm, right,
It we've been there.
right,
Uh we got my boy Rose in the house, sheriff deputy. He said it all boils down to
mm-hmm,
training. Sometimes improperly they don't allow partners that may be engaged the person in crisis, CIT,
mm-hmm,
crisis intervention training. And that he said that because that's one of the things where you send officers, like they'll be like, hey officers, who wants to go to CIT training?
right,
Officers raise their hand or they won't raise their hand, and then the sergeant like, okay, who has the lowest code number? You're going.
right,
So I mean, and like I said, that's one thing that our department puts in their cap too. Something extra on top of whatever else training you. Again, it boils down to departments,
mm-hmm,
money,
mm-hmm,
leadership, and
mm,
just individuals that give a shit. Like,
mm-hmm,
first of all, I'm really worried if you're in the police business or police career to make money. Cause
right,
the fuck, like you either gonna make money being Officer Alonzo from Training Day, or you gonna work your fingers to the bone on off duty. You don't
right,
make money being a police officer. So if I'm ever sitting next to somebody, well, back in the day, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I'm about to make this guap,"
right,
huh?
yeah,
What are you
mm-mm,
talking about? What guap?
mm-hmm, right,
Do you know? Do you know where the fuck you at? Like we wearing a uniform. We ain't wearing a business suit going to IBM. Like,
mm-hmm, right,
you know what I'm saying? Training is key. And my boy Main Event again. And for y'all don't know, I'm gonna have Main Event on again. He's very big in the community. He does a lot. He pitches a lot of things to
Well, I
mayors,
just saw
commissioners.
what he just said, which I
Right.
think is absolutely needed. A joint community program with absolutely with cops and um the community because there's such a distrust there and there's such a lack of transparency and accountability and it's just broken. How it
But
is
you know
now
what?
is
You know
broken.
what, sis? We're not being fair though. Cause police do it. After they shoot and kill somebody. We're not trying to hear that shit. It's like when you're super mad and somebody like, calm down, calm down.
Hmm.
No, don't talk to
Right
me now.
now.
What about the 6 months where I was saying, hey, there's some rumblings. They don't like
Hmm.
the way your officers are coming in this neighborhood and talking to
Right.
people,
Right.
like, hey, we need to sit down. Like, let's
Right.
talk. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
They ain't
that
doing
right. And that goes back to leadership. And there's such a lack of leadership in this city when it comes to the mayor, the DA, the police commissioner. It's just it's astounding um that the new police commissioner just got here, I think in February. We're like almost 410 murders
all
with
time.
2 months left to go. And when I tell you there or weeks, that you don't even see the commissioner. I think children and youth being shot is up like 45, over 40%. When it's convenient for her to make a photo op or a camera, a camera op, she's around. Like
That's all
that's
it is. You can ask, like, I kid you not. The first thing I would have asked the police commissioner was, ma'am, how long were you on the streets?
that makes a difference.
Because you know what happens? These quote unquote fast trackers,
It's a shit show.
they're
It
very good
absolutely is,
at
Shantae.
stuff. They're very good at kissing ass. So they're on the street for what, 2, 3 years, and they become sergeant. Then they move
Mhm.
up, and
Yeah.
they don't know what the streets is like.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
They
And
don't
see,
know.
and we're getting into a bigger issue. I always tell people who ask, oh, like how really, how is it in a police department? And I say to people, if you haven't watched The Wire, because it's exactly like that. Politics, 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 numbers. That's it. It's not about really making
A
change,
difference
making a
in the community.
difference. It's absolutely not about that. Yeah, Terry, I can't believe she's made this long either. And I don't know how she was. I was excited and I was hopeful because she is a black woman, but she ain't cut out for this city. This is a different animal. And like you can't, in my opinion, the commissioner of the Philadelphia Police Department needs to be somebody who actually has been here or in a major
In
city.
the shit. In the
Right.
shit.
Like you can't
I've
come
been
from
through some shit.
Portland and be
Portland.
like,
Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. Portland.
yeah,
That
that's
real
where
time with
she
Chris
came
Cook.
from.
Thank y'all for coming. They got a black woman from Portland running Philadelphia. Hello, 400 homicides. What the? Oh my God. I did not know that. I
Hmm.
did not know that. Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
Portland,
Yep.
Oregon, right? Not
That's.
Portland, Baltimore. Not Portland,
Hmm.
D.C.
Yep.
Portland, Oregon. They got her from Portland, Oregon, around the city of Philadelphia.
Yep.
Hmm.
I mean, when the pandemic hit, it was at least like a month or so until they started doing the daily, update. She it, it was like it was being articles written like, where is she, because ain't nobody heard from, like, how you go missing in a pandemic and you're the police chief of a major city, like that just, but then once the riots for George Floyd happened and all hell broke loose, oh, her and the mayor was on TV every day, every single day,
I
grandstanding
I don't want to get. I don't want. I promise myself I
every
wasn't
single
gonna get
day.
political, but I'm telling you, that goes along with the whole pandering issue
Mm.
where we love seeing us on TV and in high positions, but at the core, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just there because they look like us and we're excited. But
Mhm.
once we all start seeing, we're like, wait a minute, I
Right.
haven't seen her during a pandemic. We
Mhm.
just had our 400th homicide. What the
She
fuck
was
is she doing?
she see, I I know I want to disclose certain things, but I don't want to.
Don't
But the
do it.
people
Yeah,
who I talk to know certain things because we have that type of relationship. But
don't do
Yeah, this ain't working out. It's just not.
This ain't working out. That's the understatement of 2020. This ain't working out. Well, shit. Let
Yep,
me tell you what don't work out. When you
yep.
cook your omelet
Sure
on high,
didn't, Terry.
you burn it. That's not working out. She playing. Listen, she need to go back to Portland and guard the Nike factory or some shit because this ain't no.
Yo,
Did
like,
anybody tell her what Philadelphia was about, or they was just like, let's go pick a black woman, obscure black woman? I'm pretty sure y'all was like, who, where? But she insisted.
yeah.
Okay,
Now,
I like it, and then boom, this shit ain't working out. Bye,
well,
girl.
see,
Bye, Felicia. Is her name Felicia?
no, there you go. Um,
Bye, Felicia. If it was any more reason to say that, it's now. Bye, Felicia.
and,
Go back.
and and that also goes to a bigger issue as far as politics. And I'm by any means don't want to say she didn't have the on paper credentials to be qualified, but in the actual experience, um, and that goes back to this mayor, which again, he's another one who I don't care how many press briefings you put out. Why are you not out when 2-year old, 4-year old babies, teens are getting just a couple weeks ago, an 18-year-old got got killed walking to a gym. Walking to him and his friend walking to a gym. Of course, he was an innocent bystander. The person who shot him was targeting somebody else, and he was the one who was killed. Like you don't, and you're not seen. It's
I
just
think
like another number. Like, are you kidding me?
why. I think you know why. We all know why. It's no different than when Susie Q go missing. She's on Nancy Grace. The parents on Nancy Grace, CNN, Fox. It's like find her.
But yet
When
and still,
when Moesha's missing,
hmm,
hey, they pick the stankest picture they can find,
mm-hmm,
post it, and be like, "Fine,
right,
that's a- that's it. Local
mm-hmm,
miss. That's it.
right,
We know
right,
why. It doesn't move America
mm-hmm,
when a black man gets shot outside a gym. Doesn't move him. Cause what do we start hearing? What was he doing here?
right.
I want to say probably working out, stupid ass. What the fuck you mean? What was he doing there? He was
A
working out.
18-year-old just
He was
graduated
at
from
the
high
gym,
school.
working
Yeah,
out. That's what he was doing. But
a
no, what they
boxing
want
gym.
to? Well, 10 years ago, he had a weed charge at summer camp. Did I ask?
Mm-hmm,
He got shot at a gym going to work out. What the fuck I care about a weed charge at summer camp?
right.
This is the things where they, even Mr. Wallace, they started bringing up his past and stuff like that. No. What happened tonight?
Right.
What
That what
happened now?
whatever his rap sheet did have or didn't have had nothing to do with the incident that happened that day. If anything, with so many calls being made to the home because of
Now
issues,
that matters. Yeah.
that should have been a cue for some type of intervention. And again,
Hey, get all the crisis.
that goes back to if you don't have the means or the know-withal, you're you're not going to get the help. And even let's say even if he was hospitalized before, they're only going to hold him for 48 hours until
Mm-hmm.
an assessment is
The
made
medicine
if he
kicks in. Yeah.
right whether he just needs to be medicated, or if they're going to actually admit him. And then there comes the whole insurance issue and who's paying for this. It's just a true and utter. It's just a systematic
Failure on all
failure.
levels.
Right.
All levels. That's far too many. I don't even. It's far too many people walking out here with mental health issues that are not getting the help that they're supposed to get, and then you're expecting people. My boy Rose said again. You know, he's law enforcement. He said dispatcher should have given a call for service and history as the address. Like I said, in my department, they'll be like, hey, officers have been out there 10 times within the last 2 days.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know. And that's a good
simple as that.
question that I will ask because that's something I'm interested in. I don't know if that happens here or not.
Mhm.
I know that, I've talked to, my husband in certain situations where, like you said, because he is in a certain location where he knows if a address pops up, he knows, pretty
Oh
much
shit.
what the
Yeah. Yeah.
situation is. And that's because he, has been in that neighborhood for so long, etc. I don't know if it's just given, okay, there's been 10 calls in the past, month. So just to give them a head, I don't know if that happens here, but I will ask to find that out because that's
Right.
something
And
I'm
like I
interested
said,
in.
the computer system we have, it says it has like the last 5 incidents of that location. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we was here before for a ADW or a mental health illness or whatever. But
Right.
also you have police if you have time type as God damn. Like, oh man, we done been out. Or if you're like sometimes I was like, they'll be like, hey, dude, go to the conference. Well, hey man, I was just there 2 days ago. They're having an
Right.
issue with the kid that like
Mm-hmm.
to take his medicine. Watch
Right.
your ass there.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So
Right.
again, it goes to training, it goes to the
Mm-hmm.
system, it goes to
Right.
funding. It's
It goes
just
to communication.
people communicate. People only see the ending. Like people
Mm-hmm.
saw that 10 to 15 second video, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't see the building. Of course, you're not going to see like the officers training and stuff
Right.
like
Right.
that. But it starts coming out like they didn't have
Mm-hmm.
tape.
Right. Right. They only
They've been
get
there 50 times.
basic training. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Right.
listen,
But yet and
I
still, let
uh,
me just before, but yet and still, and this goes back to what our money is being used for as taxpayers. They're implementing or they're getting ready to start the whole crisis thing here in Philadelphia only
they are
because of, yeah, what Terry said earlier. They're getting ready to do it, which the only reason why they're getting ready to implement it is because of, situations that have obviously become nationally, known. But there's money and funds being used to guard the mayor's girlfriend's house when all hell
is
broke
it his
loose.
girlfriend? I never heard of a mayor with a girlfriend. They're
Well,
normally married.
allegedly, alleged girlfriend, alleged
Go ahead and let
person,
yeah.
spouse. But
Yeah.
money was being used for unmarked vehicles, unmarked cars to be guarding not a spouse, not his kids, not nobody, but his significant other. There money being used.
No. Let's say he got somebody to guard his snatch. Make sure ain't nobody else coming to my snatch.
But
Sorry, man.
there's money being used and diverted for certain higher ups in the department having 24
Bonuses.
hour protection, and city council people had 24-hour unmarked. Yeah, right. But this is stuff that a normal, you wouldn't know unless you
Why
know.
fuck you need protection if we don't know what you look like? Like y'all just said it yourself. You don't be seeing them until something happens.
Well, I'm telling you what I know to be true. And when all hell broke loose here in this city, there were city council people that got 24-hour protection. There were certain people in the department that got 24-hour protection, and meaning cops who were being taken off the street to do that, and taken off the street to guard the mayor's significant other. So,
Bruh. Now y'all see what I be talking about now? We be so happy when they look like us. But you know all kinfolk ain't the kinfolk. This motherfucker he using money, taxpayers hard-earned money
yeah.
to guard his snatch.
And people,
He just being a
especially in this,
stalker at a high level. He being a nigga at the highest level. That's all that is. Call it what it is.
but
Hey, go
like
back
that's,
to what she doing. What? No, you go. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Is it a police officer that's doing it?
yeah, it's cops that were
So
doing
he
it.
taking a cop off the street to
Yes.
okay. That probably a black officer that could have answered the Wallace call. Probably. Just saying. Whatever. Shit is stupid.
Yeah,
Shit is
that's
stupid. Shit is dumb. And it's the shit we need to remember when them little
mm,
ballots go up and they around
hmm
here kissing babies and shit. But like, what about the person guarding your? No, start making them answer these damn questions. But I want to get to my guy Karate Mark and Main Event. Both have already offered to any police officers that's in the Philadelphia area and listen to this broadcast. The training is there if you want it, if you need it. You want to be Mason Storm and disarm people. Hey, listen, go learn. Go learn. Go.
hmm
You have to do more training than what you're
right
mandated to do.
to do
Invest
right.
in your craft. Invest in your career because it's going
hmm
to save your life or somebody else's life.
hmm Yep,
Period.
absolutely.
Um. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. So, and I hate to put you in this spot. First of all, your babies ain't even gonna be doing no shit like that. But
Listen, you
as
never know.
listen, I 99% know his lakey ass ain't doing that. So listen, if you're in that situation,
hmm
like, see, it's
What do
kind of
you
hard to
do?
ask. Yeah, like,
Right.
are are you still calling the cops? The way things are right
Oh,
now, are you calling cops?
hmm.
The fact you just thinking about it says a lot.
If that same exact situation was me, um, probably not.
Bingo.
Probably not. And I'm gonna say it's twofold. It Part of it is because I'm a mother of two black sons, and just because my husband is who he is, and I have family, that are on the force, does not mean that I automatically trust all cops
Bingo.
because I'm married to one. And I always tell people this: I know my husband's heart. I know, can pretty much tell in situations how he's going to handle things. I know him. that doesn't mean I trust every cop because I don't know them. I go by whom I know. Um, so and that like, and since we're talking about this, I'm gonna say like I um as a black woman who is the mainly the taxi cab and the Uber for my kids when it comes to activities, etc. I'm the main one that's driving them around. So I've been in plenty of situations where I've gotten pulled over and
You speeding in the minivan?
it,
Come
first
on,
of all, I
man.
don't have no damn minivan. Never had one.
Whatever.
God bless
Whatever.
everybody that do have it.
It's souped up, ain't it? It's souped up.
No. Um, but no minivans over here. My kids are 20 and 14. Okay, them mini. If I did have one, them minivan days is long. Is long gone. I'm trying to get them out the house so I can get the actual car that I want. Shoot. Um, but I've been in numerous situations because of the car that I drive, because of where I was that I've gotten pulled over. Um, and I'm nervous. I am um
I'm nervous. Mm-hmm.
I'm tense. I tense up. And the first thing I do is I call my husband and have him on the phone so he can hear what's going on, so he can kind of calm me down because I'm automatically on the defensive, like what are they pulling me over for, etc. And then more than I would say 80-90% of the time, it's crazy after they come to the car, blah blah blah, and I hand them all my stuff and they see my FOP courtesy cars and stuff like that. Is the mood totally changes. It goes from
Hello.
you're walking up to my car and I can feel the tension and I'm afraid to move, to when I give you this little piece of this card. Oh, who's the officer? And the total mood of the conversation changes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yep. Yep. My wife has been pulled over and I've showed up um ready to freaking go off, but I know even as a police officer, I know not to show up with my weapon. I know not to show up, you know.
Right. You still have to be on your P's and Q's.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get afforded those.
Right.
Um I listen, I done been in more white households wearing my damn uniform than anywhere else. Boy, you want to talk about I've been offered potato salad with raisins at get-togethers. Like, Officer Blue, you hungry? I'll bring you a plate. No, I'm good.
Mm,
You got brown shit in your potato salad.
I'm
But
cool.
I like people love the uniform, but listen,
They
we're
love the
human.
uniform. They don't love the people that wear the uniform.
There you go. There you go. Cause
There's a
and
difference
but
in how you're received.
and I know I got to take mine off, and I'm still black, so I can't be
Right.
out here acting like I ain't got no damn sense.
Mm-hmm.
But man, time has flew. Um, I I appreciate this is you getting on with me and just giving a different perspective, a well thought out perspective. Um, son, why you gotta come in on my serious closing topic? Where's your mama? Anyway, um, I may lose my train of thought. Oh, but thank you for coming on, and I
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
having
And
me.
to everybody that's in the comments and support me, I appreciate it. And I'm gonna tell you to the people that not supporting this, I see you on YouTube, social media, wherever, Twitter, you're talking shit. You're doing all these tweets. You got Black Lives Matter. You got you got the fist in your bio, all this shit. I just had an emergency episode breaking down a lot of shit, that questions that you swear you know answers to, like the whole why can't you shoot him in the leg? Why can't you why can't you throw your gun up in the air, distract them, then tackle them? All that bullshit y'all talk about on Twitter. I give you the opportunity to get in here and talk about it. Crickets. I should have said go birds, and y'all would have been in here.
Right. Because
I
the
should have said
people, they don't want to, like you said, they don't want to have actual conversations where you can have a different point of view. That's what this, this country, it should be built on, having discussions from different sides to come together for resolutions. You don't want everybody to have the same thoughts and feelings as you do. Um, and getting different perspectives from everybody, that is what makes this country what it should be.
fantastic. Yeah. And my thing is because I see it all the time. It's like that's why I said not everybody wants a solution. Some people just want chaos and anarchy. Some people just
Mhm.
want to see themselves tweet and feel
Right.
important. They want to
Mhm.
type all this shit. Like this guy was like, "Well, there's over 100,000 murders, and so what do you think about that?" And I'm like, "Dude, my office hours are Sunday and Wednesday, 8 to 9:30, because I'm not about to be firing off 140 characters
Right.
for you
To
for
impede.
us to
Right.
just go back and forth.
Back and
Right.
forth.
No, that's what you want to do. How about we
Mhm.
do it verbally so you can't misconstrue anything that I'm about to
Right.
fucking say to you? But
Right.
some people, they don't, when it comes down to it, they don't want to really talk. They don't want
Mhm.
that verbal
Right.
smoke. They just want to tweet.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet a meme at him. Yeah, yeah, he don't know what he talking about. Yeah, stupid. I just can't. I'm just up with people just running their mouths on social media, and then when you give them the opportunity to, say what's on their mind,
Mhm.
crickets.
Mhm.
If you ask them about Carson Wentz or
Mhm.
anybody else, oh man, they could talk to you all day.
All day.
Well, why
Right.
put Carson Wentz matters instead of Black Lives Matter in your damn bio? How about
Right.
that?
But to have an
Go
actual
bird.
substantive conversation that has meaning, that
Yeah, woke
people
people, man. They
people
so fake woke,
legitimately
man.
have questions to answers, because they truly want to know. It's not about being combative, or but like just to be
Right.
educated, to know more about, like the question that Shantae asked was, a perfect example. And some of the questions that Terry had, and some of the other questions that some of your other followers that said, and
Right.
like that all gives everybody a chance to learn more and to dive deeper into trying to fix the issues that that is going on. So
But my question is, do they really want to fix it, or do they really just want to argue and sound cute on social media? Like, do they really want to? Like, let's be
um
honest, do they really want to?
I
But you
think
know
it's
what?
probably 50-50.
You know what? If my hair was green, and you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. Cause
Yes,
you know
please
where I'm
do.
about to go. You
Yes.
know where I'm about to go. I'm
No,
gonna leave
no,
it
no, no.
alone. I would love to be the future star. You know what? This has been Real Time with Prince Blue. I appreciate everybody coming through. I'm gonna have to sign off while I
This was
start
great.
saying some shit that's really gonna rattle some bones. But I appreciate this, and we're gonna do more of this. It's not just about sports; it's other stuff going on in the world,
Mhm.
and I'm not interested in the commercialized market of social issues, all that shit. logos and shit behind me. I'm interested in talking about what actually impacts us because
Right.
I know they want to help, and I know they may think that they're still down, but those athletes and multimillionaires, no. Yeah, they're going home, and they don't have to worry about the stuff we have to worry about. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank y'all, and if y'all want to hear this again, check out my podcast and stuff. It's just been activated and shit by Alexa, Siri, so you can just say, "Hey Siri, play Real Time with Prince Blue." And if you got an Android, a raggedy ass Android, you can say, "Hey Alexa, play Real Time with Prince Blue." She'll probably be like, "Hey," but just say it again. God damn it. Thank you everybody for coming on. I appreciate this. Check out uh what are you doing? Lastoutmedia.com, lastoutmedianetwork.com for more information. Got a lot of stuff coming up. Stuff is cooking in the lab, but like I always tell y'all every day, white people, you gotta sign stuff and you gotta make sure everything's good before you announce stuff. So that's what we're doing. I get up with y'all uh Sunday. My show is going to be early because the Eagles play Dallas, and I'm not trying to be on here with y'all while the game is on. So it's going to be early. We're going to lead up to the game. We're gonna get it on. Go Birds.
Go.
Thank you, sis, for coming on. I appreciate you.
You're
Please be
welcome.
safe. Tell OG
Yeah,
be safe. And
I sure will.
um,
Thank you.
if they come to your house, get in that minivan and mow them down. All right, love. I
All
appreciate you.
right. Thank you so much for having.
Bye.
All right.
All right. All right, everybody. I'm out. My son escaped, so I gotta go. All right. Talk to you later.